To start off any treatment, we will be doing consultation. This is beneficial to everybody to determine the needs and desires of the client, as well as to establish that there are no contraindications to performing the treatment. Now I'll clean the skin and examine my client's natural brows. One side will be more active and the other more passive. Of course, she'll try and create symmetry and definition while maintaining her natural shape and character. I will now start my pre-drawing. You will notice that I have not yet applied my numbing cream. I do prefer to first numb my client, then pre-draw, but I wanted to show some of my students that if they really need more time to do their pre-drawing because the detail is so important, then this is another option. With brow mapping, I will start by marking out the center and then starting each brow 1 to 1.5 centimeters from that center point. I will do a detailed tutorial on brow mapping, but for now, the number one rule is that you want to stick as close as possible to your client's natural shape. You are enhancing her beauty, not recreating it. Your pre-drawing must be neat and perfectly accurate. The risk of making a mistake with your client's brows almost entirely eliminated if you simply do this step properly. Take your time, this is permanent, so it must be perfect. I like using concealer to define my pre-drawing as well as a translucent powder afterwards just to help set it in. Once you are happy, set your client up and double check everything. You can now carefully apply numbing cream over your pre-drawing. I leave it on for 20 to 25 minutes. When you remove your numbing cream from your pre-drawing, you have to be super careful not to disturb the drawing. You can use the handle side of a microapplicator, a Q-tip or an orange wood stick to carefully scrape off the excess cream, then blot with a tissue. I will now reapply a tiny bit of the translucent powder just to set in my drawing once again. I know what you're thinking. What the hell is she doing? I will now take my needle and just scratch the very surface of my client's epidermal layers. This will allow my secondary anesthetic to penetrate. This also has to be done super carefully. This I repeat about 3 times, slightly adjusting my needle length every time. Your outline needs to be defined enough to see, but soft enough to blend. So work very carefully, work slow and steady and with consistency. This has to be a perfect outline. For the ombre effect, of course, I'm going to have a more defined tail, an arch, and less definement towards the head of my brow. Now I will fill in my pigment. There should be minimal to no papillary response when doing this. Client should not be in any kind of pain. I work in little segments. As I feel I'm about 70% to 95% done, I reapply my catalyst and move on to the next segment. I start working from the tail and work towards the head of the brow. Keep your client's skin clean. You need to be able to see what you're doing throughout this process. Before I move on to my other brow, I will occlude the skin. This will help keep my client numb and minimize the amount of anesthetic I need to use during my procedure. I try and hang my cord over my shoulder. That just keeps my device light so that the pendulum movement is an easy swing. Once I'm done with my procedure, I apply bacitracin. This is antibacterial and won't interfere with my pigment. I will discuss the aftercare in another video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, myself or any of the other Premier Beauty Academy instructors will be super happy to help.